LeBron James spent the entire night barking at referees, snapping back at fans, getting visibly frustrated, and watching the Lakers get blown out by 18 in Oklahoma City. The Thunder crowd got louder with every possession. The Lakers kept falling apart, and somehow it felt like everyone else became the problem except the guy wearing number 23. At some point, people have to ask a serious question. When do these moments stop looking like passion and start looking like excuses? And how many more times can LeBron throw his hands up at officials before somebody inside that organization tells him to lock back in on the actual game? Game 2 in Oklahoma City was supposed to be the Lakers' response night. They needed composure, urgency, and leadership to even the series. Instead, cameras spent half the game following LeBron around while he argued with referees, exchanged words with a courtside fan, and watched the Thunder completely control the night from start to finish. The final score was 125-107, and honestly, it did not even feel that close. This was not some heartbreaking playoff loss decided in the last minute. Oklahoma City handled business early, kept the pressure on all game, and never really looked worried. The Thunder crowd could sense blood in the water fast, and the Lakers never gave anybody confidence they were about to turn things around. What made it even worse was the body language. There were stretches where the Lakers looked disconnected, frustrated. Meanwhile, every time something did not go their way, LeBron seemed more focused on reacting than regrouping. By the fourth quarter, the biggest storyline was no longer the scoreboard. It was who LeBron was going to argue with next. And then came the fan moment, which honestly told everybody exactly where his mindset was during the game. At one point, a Thunder fan sitting courtside yelled something in LeBron's direction. Nobody really knows exactly what was said, and it honestly does not even matter. The reaction said enough. LeBron immediately turned toward the fan, locked in on him, and fired back with, "Stay a kid. I am a grown man. I got kids of my own." That was the moment. In the middle of a playoff game, while his team was getting outplayed by double digits, that became the focus. The optics were rough, no matter how people try to spin it. This is a 41-year-old all-time great, a multiple-time MVP, the league's all-time leading scorer, and the supposed leader of a championship contender. In moments like that, fans expect leadership, composure, and control. They expect him to settle the team down and respond through basketball. Instead, he got dragged into a courtside back and forth with a paying customer while the Thunder kept piling on points. The cameras caught every second of it, and once the clips hit the internet, the reactions exploded instantly. But the bigger storyline of the night was not even the fan exchange. It was the non-stop frustration over the whistle. According to LeBron James, the referees are suddenly ignoring contact every time he attacks the basket. According to LeBron, the calls make no sense anymore. And according to Lakers head coach JJ Redick, LeBron supposedly has the worst whistle of any superstar he has ever seen. Think about that for a second. The Lakers are already pushing the victim narrative in the second round of the playoffs. That is not the attitude of a team fully in control of the series. That sounds like a group starting to feel pressure, searching for outside explanations instead of looking directly at the way they are playing on the floor. And yes, the free throw numbers immediately became the talking point after the game. LeBron took 18 shots and only got to the line 4 times. In Game 1, it looked even more shocking on paper. He attempted 17 shots and got exactly 1 free throw attempt all night. That stat has been repeated everywhere over the last couple of days, like it proves something massive. But here is the part people conveniently leave out. Taking a lot of shots at 41 years old does not automatically mean the refs owe you fouls. Basketball does not work like a lifetime achievement award. The whistle does not suddenly change because of legacy, reputation, or career accomplishments. And when you actually watch the film, a lot of those possessions do not scream missed calls. Several of the attempts were mid-range pull-ups with almost no contact involved. Others were step-back jumpers where defenders barely touched him. Some were transition pull-ups where there was clear space between players. Those are not automatic foul situations. Free throws usually come when players aggressively attack defenders, absorb hard contact, and force referees to make a decision. The film does not show LeBron getting hammered possession after possession with no whistle. It shows a veteran superstar adapting his game more toward jumpers, controlled drives, and pacing himself differently than he did in his prime. That is the uncomfortable conversation nobody really wants to have. The game changes as players get older, even for legends. And right now, the Lakers look frustrated that reality is not bending in their favor anymore. Then came the Alex Caruso charge call in the second quarter, and that completely sent the Lakers over the edge. LeBron drove hard, Caruso slid over late, and the official immediately called an offensive foul. The replay looked close, but Caruso got set just enough for the referees to let it stand. The Thunder crowd absolutely loved it. The arena exploded. Meanwhile, LeBron was furious. Luka Doncic started waving his arms around at half-court in disbelief, and JJ Redick sat there smirking like he could not believe what he was watching. LeBron then walked directly over to official John Goble to argue the call, but nothing changed. The whistle stayed the same, the possession was gone, and Oklahoma City got the ball back while the Lakers kept burning energy complaining. That is the thing about playoff basketball. Calls are not always going to swing your way. Sometimes you hate the whistle, sometimes the other team benefits. The best teams usually respond by locking back in, sprinting on defense, and making the next play. But the Lakers never really got there emotionally in this game. The frustration kept growing possession after possession. JJ Redick eventually picked up a technical foul himself after jawing at officials during the second quarter, and players on the bench had to calm things down before it escalated even further. So while Oklahoma City stayed focused, moved the ball, attacked the paint, grabbed rebounds, and kept executing, the Lakers looked stuck arguing with referees instead of controlling the game. One team looked disciplined and hungry, the other looked distracted and rattled, and by the end of the night, that difference was impossible to ignore. The Thunder kept doing exactly what winning playoff teams are supposed to do. They turned defensive stops into easy transition buckets, stayed aggressive, and kept the pressure on every single possession. Meanwhile, the Lakers were still busy throwing their hands up at referees and arguing after almost every whistle. The contrast on television started looking brutal. One team looked fully locked into basketball. The other looked like they were trying to file complaints in real time during the game. Now, to be fair, there actually was one moment where LeBron probably had a legitimate argument. During a sequence against Jalen Williams, LeBron scored through a late contest, and the replay angle made it look like Williams got part of his hand during the shot attempt. No whistle came, even after the contact. The Lakers bench instantly reacted like it should have been an and-one opportunity. LeBron turned and stared directly at official Mark Lindsay with that classic look like he was trying to burn a hole through him with eye contact alone. The basket counted, but the free throw never came. But again, that was one possession. One missed call does not explain losing a game by 18 points. That is where the conversation starts getting messy because the Lakers kept treating isolated moments like they explained the entire night. Then came another tense moment during the third quarter while AJ Mitchell was standing at the free throw line. Instead of focusing on the next possession, LeBron walked over toward Alex Caruso and let his frustration spill out. Every call, no AC, no AC, I don't want to hear that. The floor microphones picked it up clearly, and suddenly the clip started spreading online almost instantly. What made the moment interesting was the history behind it. Caruso is not some random opponent, that is a former teammate. They won a championship together not that long ago, but in that moment, none of the history mattered. The frustration had completely boiled over, and the stat that made Lakers fans even angrier came right after. Rookie AJ Mitchell finished the game with more free throw attempts than LeBron despite taking 6 fewer shots from the field. Once the broadcast pointed that out, the reactions exploded. Lakers fans saw it as proof the officiating was unfair. Everybody else saw it differently. Because the reality is, younger players attacking downhill at full speed usually draw more physical contact than veteran players settling for jumpers and controlled drives.
When we spoke to JJ post-game, he was pretty irate about the officiating. We saw you have some discourse with the refs as the game went on. How do you feel like the officiating was a factor in those runs that they were able to put together, the Thunder were able to put together?
We're down 2-0.
Ron, JJ said that of all superstars that you have the worst whistle that he's ever seen. Why do you think
That is not disrespect. That is just the way the game gets officiated. Referees react to force, contact, and collisions at the rim. Long pull-ups and fadeaways rarely create those same whistles. After the game, LeBron was asked directly about the entire foul situation, and his response was basically, "I don't know." That was the tone. A vague answer, almost like he wanted people to read between the lines without fully saying what he really thought. It sounded like somebody trying to avoid saying too much publicly while still making sure everybody understood he was unhappy. But honestly, it also came across like a player running out of explanations while letting the coaching staff carry the bigger complaints. Because JJ Redick absolutely doubled down after the game. His comment about LeBron having the worst whistle of any superstar immediately became one of the biggest talking points coming out of the night. Coaches usually save those frustrations for private conversations with the league office. They do not normally blast them into microphones after a playoff loss. The fact Redick did it publicly tells you everything about where the Lakers are mentally right now. This is becoming a full media angle. Expect that quote to get repeated everywhere before Game 3. Every sports show will debate it. Every pregame segment will mention it. Every analyst will be arguing over whether LeBron is getting unfair treatment or whether the Lakers are simply frustrated about being outplayed. And honestly, that is the bigger issue here. The Lakers seem far more comfortable talking about officiating than talking about Oklahoma City simply looking faster, sharper, younger, and more disciplined. Then came the historic milestone of the night, which almost got completely lost in the chaos. LeBron officially became the first player in NBA history to appear in 300 playoff games. That is an unbelievable accomplishment. No matter what anybody thinks about him, that level of longevity is insane. The previous record belonged to Derek Fisher, and LeBron passed him a long time ago. He has now spent over 2 decades constantly reaching the postseason without missing playoff basketball. That deserves respect, period. But instead of becoming the emotional centerpiece of the night, the milestone got buried underneath everything else. The arguments with fans, the complaints about referees, the charge call drama, the stare-downs with officials, the sideline frustration, and the non-stop whistle debate completely overshadowed the history being made. Even the broadcast struggled with it. ESPN and TNT rolled out celebratory graphics for the 300 playoff games milestone, and almost immediately afterward, the cameras cut back to LeBron yelling at officials again. That is the image problem the Lakers are dealing with now. The historic moments are still happening, but they keep getting drowned out by frustration, controversy, and distractions that are impossible for people to ignore. The biggest problem for the Lakers right now is that the actual basketball story is slowly getting pushed into the background, while all the drama keeps taking over the spotlight. The conversation used to be about the kid from Akron who never stopped winning, never stopped reaching the playoffs, and kept rewriting history year after year. Now the conversation feels completely different.
Down here in the third, Mitchell.
Now people are talking about the 41-year-old team leader getting caught up in sideline arguments, staring down referees, and reacting emotionally, while a younger, faster, and deeper Oklahoma City team completely controls the game around him. And honestly, the Thunder just look built for this moment. They have shooters everywhere on the floor, constant energy, elite rim protection, and a lead guard playing like an absolute superstar. Their depth is becoming a huge problem for opponents because they keep throwing fresh bodies into the rotation without losing intensity. That is what makes this matchup look scary for the Lakers moving forward. Oklahoma City is not relying on 1 or 2 stars to survive. They have multiple contributors stepping up every single night. Their bench keeps producing. Their role players know exactly what they are supposed to do. The chemistry looks natural, fast, and confident. Meanwhile, the Lakers look top-heavy and fragile by comparison. So much depends on their stars carrying the load every night, staying healthy, and staying emotionally locked in. When one thing starts slipping, the whole structure suddenly looks shaky. Game 2 exposed all of that brutally. The Lakers got outshot, out-rebounded, and outrun in transition. Oklahoma City's bench completely outworked the Lakers' second unit, and defensively, the Thunder looked one step ahead almost the entire night. Every time the Lakers tried to build momentum, the Thunder immediately answered back with another clean look, another fast break, or another defensive stop. And honestly, the final 18-point margin almost looked generous. Anybody who watched the third quarter could feel the game slipping away completely. The Lakers never really looked like they were about to make a serious comeback. The energy was flat, the defensive rotations were late, and Oklahoma City kept attacking whatever matchup they wanted. LeBron still finished with 23 points, 6 assists, and 2 rebounds in 38 minutes, which on paper sounds solid enough for a normal recap article. But once you actually watch the game, the numbers feel very different. It took 18 shots to get those points, and the Lakers still got blown out while he was on the floor. That is where raw stats stopped telling the full story. The production was there in flashes, but the impact did not feel dominant. The plus-minus numbers for the Lakers stars were rough, the bench struggled badly, and defensively the team looked disconnected for long stretches. And none of those issues suddenly disappear because of post-game complaints about referees. That is the bigger concern hanging over this team right now. The excuses are starting to run thin because the same patterns keep repeating themselves. Regular season, they struggled longer than expected in the first round, and now they are staring at a 0-2 hole in the second round against a team that looks more athletic, more disciplined, and more complete. This roster was built with one goal only: win immediately. But right now is starting to look a lot less certain than people expected a few months ago. And then there is the Luka Doncic factor, which somehow still feels unfinished. His arrival was supposed to solve problems, elevate the offense, and take pressure off LeBron. Instead, there are still moments where the Lakers look like a group trying to figure each other out on the fly. Sometimes the offense feels clunky, sometimes the ball movement stalls, sometimes it looks unclear who is supposed to fully take over in the biggest moments. The talent is obviously there, but the chemistry still does not fully feel settled. But honestly, the moment people might remember most from this game is not even the final score. It might be the fan exchange. Because when superstar players struggle on the court, fans usually move on quickly. Bad games happen. Tough playoff losses happen. But when cameras catch emotional reactions, sideline arguments, and visible frustration during a blowout loss, those moments stick around way longer online. Those are the clips that replay everywhere, get debated for days, and slowly become part of the larger conversation surrounding a player and a team. At the end of the day, nobody around the league is going to spend weeks crying over a couple missed whistles in May. Bad calls happen in every playoff series. Players get frustrated, coaches get frustrated. That part of basketball is normal, but the image people are going to remember from this night is completely different. It is going to be the image of a four-time champion, one of the greatest players ever, getting pulled into a courtside argument with a Thunder fan while his team was getting blown out by 18 points on national television. That clip is going to live everywhere for a while. Sports shows are going to replay it, meme accounts are going to repost it non-stop, fans are going to debate it all week. And honestly, from a public perception standpoint, the fan walked away winning that moment. The fan got the reaction. The fan got the viral clip. The fan left the arena with a story he will probably tell forever. Meanwhile, the Lakers walked out of Oklahoma City down 0-2 in the series with more questions than answers. And when you strip away all the noise, the final story of the night becomes pretty simple. The Lakers lost by 18. LeBron argued with a fan. LeBron argued with multiple referees. JJ Redick argued with officials too. The team picked up a technical foul and nearly lost control emotionally several more times throughout the game. Meanwhile, the Thunder just kept playing basketball. They stayed composed, executed their game plan, attacked mismatches, moved the ball, and controlled the tempo almost the entire night. That was the real difference between the two teams. Even LeBron's massive milestone, becoming the first player ever to reach 300 playoff games, got completely swallowed by the frustration and chaos surrounding the loss. That should have been the headline. Instead, it became background noise behind all the arguments, reactions, and whistle complaints. And that is probably the biggest warning sign for the Lakers moving forward. When the conversations after the game become more about referees, emotions, and distractions than actual adjustments on the court, things usually start heading in a dangerous direction. Because the whistle did not lose the Lakers this game. Oklahoma City's energy, depth, execution, and discipline won them this game. The Thunder looked sharper, faster, and more connected from the opening tip all the way to the final buzzer. Until the Lakers fully accept that reality and stop searching for outside explanations, this series could keep following the exact same pattern. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think the Lakers are overreacting to the officiating, or do you think LeBron actually has a case? And with the series now shifting forward, can Los Angeles bounce back, or are the Thunder already taking full control? See you in the next one.